all here today, and appreciate you attending today. First item on the agenda is approve the minutes of the August 18th, 2015 regular meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 2 on the agenda is receive and place on file drainage repairs. We'll be having it today, so. Item 3, accept and place on file the resignation of Ashley Ruge, dental hygienist, effective August 14th, 2015.
Motion we accept the resignation of Ashley Ruge.
Second the motion.
Motion and second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 4 on the agenda, approve wage increase for the following correctional officers per labor agreement. Tanner Knoll to $16.66 per hour effective August 19, 2015. Shawana Dinklock to $16.95 per hour effective August 26, 2015. And Brian Nellis to $16.95 per hour effective August 27, 2015.
Mr. Chairman, I'll go right before it's read.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any comments from the sheriff on that?
No, those are just step increases. They're all full-time employees. You have 2 sergeants and one just senior correctional officer.
Yes, sir. You said no, in my head.
You have a comment with that?
Oh, no, I'm glad you did.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 5 on the agenda, approve wage increases for community services case management as follows. Brittany Eastwood to $19.68 per hour effective July 28, 2015. Trin Lewis to $24.17 per hour effective August 3, 2015. And Kelsey Riley to $18.84 per hour effective August 20, 2015.
So moved. Second.
A motion is second. Any comment on that, Clark?
These are just step increases.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 6 on the agenda, approve appointment of Barb Knudsen as rural member of the Duncan Public Library Board for a 3-year term.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Barb Knudsen be appointed.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
A motion is second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 7 on the agenda, receive and place on file resignation of Melissa Evans as trustee member on the Coleman Sanitary Sewer Board, District Board, effective August 12, 2015.
I approve that. Make a motion we approve item number 7.
I'll second the motion.
A motion is second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 8 on the agenda, receive and place on file manure management plan update with Alan Seal in section 22, Reading Township, Calhoun County.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move item 3.
Second.
A motion is second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 9 on the agenda, consider proposals for painting of entrance doors on the courthouse.
Mr. Chairman, I move item 9.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
A motion is second. Any comment?
Not just comment, why are we making?
Yeah.
Consider.
There you go. Proposals.
I don't know what the proposals. I'm just trying to flip.
I just want you to see what we got.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, they are.
Because I didn't see the proposals. Looks like these are to paint the outside doors here in this building. Bachman painting is for $27.50. Evans painting is for $13.75. And it looks like that's the 2 bids. It's the sand primer painting the doors in this building. So with that said, I would suggest that we approve Evans painting for $13.75.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
A motion is second. Any other comments on painting the doors? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 10 on the agenda, approve and authorize chair to sign 60-month printer's lease maintenance agreement between Access Systems and Webster County for the amount of $740.82 per month.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move item number 10.
I'll second the motion.
Motion second. Any comment on that?
Yeah, they currently do our our printer fleet, which means all the printers in the different departments within the county. We are renewing the lease with them with a savings of about $200 per month. In your keys, no. Anyway,
That's why you're here.
so I guess I recommend that we go ahead and renew we've had really good luck with their service tech. He's very efficient, he gets here very quickly, and he used to printers fixed the first time around. So
You found it's better to lease the.
yes, well, the reason why we leased it was because that way we can replace the printers as they age. So we will be replacing the Sharp printers that we had on the original lease with some HPs. And this probably might be the last time we do any leasing, unless we want to replace some other printers. It just helps out with the budget. Otherwise, you get one big lump sum that's going to come out of the budget at one time. I would rather buy them outright, but fortunately, I just can't do that. So this is the second best thing.
Well, and do you have the staff to maintain printers if we bought them outright?
Well, no, and that's why we went this way. It was to help alleviate some of that pressure. And carrying, we don't have the parts on hand and stuff. It's just way too much for us to do. So, like I said, it's a savings of $200 we're currently paying over the current lease. So it was definitely a worthwhile to look into and do it. So.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 11 on the agenda, approve request for assignment of county health tax certificates P09001, partial number 151642800 to Daryl Montgomery for $50, and that the delinquent taxes, cost, interest, and special assessment totaling approximately $10,276.45 to be paid.
Chairman, I'll move that.
Motion or question, any comments on that?
This is part of trying to clean up some of the county health tax certificates. The $10,276, the majority of that is a water bill assessed to that property. I would ask that Supervisor Singer amend his motion and that we assign the certificate to Mr. Montgomery upon him cleaning up the property. We are working with our planning and zoning person to clean up this property and an adjoining property. Mr. Montgomery is very happy to go and clean this up, but I would ask that we amend that motion to say that upon him taking title of the property and cleaning it up, that we assign the certificate to him, and he's very happy to do this.
So he's gonna clean it up first, and we're gonna sign it, or we're gonna sign it now?
That we abate it after he does all the things to it.
See one.
He's willing to purchase the property
So you mean abate the $10,000?
after the fact.
And I'm curious as to, you say that's for a water bill.
It was put on prior to the county's tax sale is before this bill. If it was the other way around, is that correct? If it's the other way around, then we wouldn't have no say, but how they filed their lien on this came behind the tax sale.
Okay. All right.
And my two questions would be, if it's a can we hook conditions to this? Okay. Then the other one would be, if you take the water bill off, then we're doing this like we have the other. I ask this every single time, that we're not waiving these things for other people, so.
This would be consistent with past practice of what we've done with other properties. The reason that we are doing it this way is so that the assignment of the $50 tax title, or the assignment of the certificate to Mr. Montgomery could be redeemed by the current property owner for $50. We would like this to be cleaned up and everything done to it, and then afterwards we'll remove the assessment. And Mr. Montgomery's attorney, Mr. Kirsten's agreeable to this.
So I guess that the idea here is that we keep the $10,000 assessment would be left on there to discourage the redemption.
Yep. We're in current litigation with the current owner on an adjacent property. And I believe that's tomorrow.
will?
Yeah, right, I didn't know if you had amended the petition, original petition to include this parcel or not.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
I would recommend that Mr. Fletcher withdraw his second, and I will withdraw my original motion and restate the motion again, or make a second motion. It's either that or I amend, which is going to be a little more confusing.
Whatever Bob says, I will withdraw. My second is,
Would you like to withdraw your first motion?
I'll withdraw my original motion, and if the chair will allow me to restate it.
Yes.
I would move that we approve the request for the county cal tax certificate, so noted to Darrell Montgomery for $50, and that the delinquent taxes, interest, and special assessment totaling approximately $10,000 be abated after cleanup of the property and upon taking of the title, then the $10,000 and change will be abated. Is that, you like that?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Have a second?
okay.
Thank you.
Any questions on the motion now? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 12 on the agenda, Vicki Shubin of Community and Family Resources to discuss September as National Recovery Month. Vicki, welcome.
Hi, I'm Vicki Shubin with Community and Family Resources. I'm their IPFS coordinator for Webster County. That's the Iowa Partnership for Success. We would like you guys to consider having September as Recovery Month. It's the National Recovery Month also, that we would like your support in having this. We're having some activities during the month. We're going to have a recovery event on September 20th. For everybody to come and check it out and be a part of Recovery Month. CFR is a treatment. We have residential groups, and we have treatment groups, counseling, prevention, that type of thing. So for Fort Dodge, our facility over here has served 1,295 different people in the past year.
So before I read the proclamation, is there any questions for me? Thank you. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness, and whereas prevention of mental and or substance use disorders works treatment is effective and people recover in our area and around the nation, and whereas preventing and overcoming mental and or substance abuse disorders is essential to achieving healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally, and whereas we must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and or substance use disorders to implement preventive measures, recognize the signs of the problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and to recovery support services. And whereas in 2013, 2.5 million people aged 12 or older received substance use treatment at a specialty facility, and 34.6 million adults aged 18 or older received mental health services. According to the 2013 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, given the serious nature of this public health problem, we must continue to reach the millions more who need help. And whereas approximately 100,000 Iowans currently receiving treatment for mental illness or substance abuse addiction. And whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, parentheses HHS, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, and the Webster County Board of Supervisors invites all residents of Webster County to participate in National Recovery Month, and now therefore I, Keith Dankwall, Board Chairman, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of Webster County, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2015 as National Recovery Month. I'll sign that. Thank you.
Thank you.
The motion to move and authorize the signature.
That'd be item number 11, or 13, and I will make that motion that we authorize Chairman Dankwall to sign the previously read proclamation.
Second. I have a motion and a second, item 13. Any other questions? Again, thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 14, approve and authorize chair to sign utility permit from Mid-American Energy to bore electric cables across 310th Street between 1712 and 1722, 310th Street to well house in the northwest quarter of section 20, township 87 north, range 29 west, Clay Township.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 14.
Second.
Have motion and second, Randy?
Don't have any comments unless you have questions.
Somebody's putting a well there, or it's just somebody's well going in? Is it something-
I think it's to a well house. I didn't call and ask any specifics other than they need to run electricity to it.
Okay.
And everything they're doing in the right of way is proper.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 15, approve and authorize chair to sign permit from Wally Hanson to extend existing 24-inch reinforced concrete crossroad culvert by 4 feet and flatten slopes along the west side of Paragon Avenue immediately south of entrance at 1727 Paragon Avenue to enhance maintenance and safety.
Mr. Chairman, second, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second, any comments? Randy?
I don't know if you want more explanation on this. I mean, it's a few years back, Mr. Hanson developed his property, and at that time, when he, along the frontage of his property, he had, it included a crossroad culvert, and there was some power poles. And where he wanted to put the entrance, which was okay by us, was between the crossroad culvert and the power pole, so it made it kind of snug there. And, you know, after the fact, he briefly came to me and said it would be best that there be a roadway culvert that has an apron, and take the apron off, put a 4-foot piece, put the apron back on. And I said it wasn't a highest priority of my department, but I would furnish the pipe if he would install it, and he agreed to do that. So it's a mutual beneficial item, and as it says toward the end, it's for, it enhances maintenance and safety. So it's, yeah, it's on the up and up.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 16, approve and authorize chair to sign Iowa DOT Traffic Safety Fund Grant Application Agreement for Horizontal Curb Sign Program.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move item number 16.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second, any comment on that, Randy?
Yeah, this is approximately the third time we've applied for this. The policy of the DOT is you can apply annually for up to $10,000 in materials. Materials being signposts and signs. The in-kind matches our labor to install. And we do have a master map of where we have placed horizontal curb signs, chevrons, and so forth. And we do have a few remaining locations. So it's a grant that we're applying for up to $10,000.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 17 is a public hearing, the first consideration of proposed amendment to Webster County Ordinance Number 43, an ordinance describing the forms of general assistance provided by Webster County in accordance with Chapter 252 Code of Iowa to poor persons in need. I'll open the public hearing. Is there any different comments? Anybody from the public want to comment?
Somebody here to hear what
Can somebody explain?
Yeah, what it is, it stopped in and we were going to help him on money that we're paying for cremation services. We're going to take that up to $800. For the current session. I don't know how many times you cremate somebody per person.
Somebody asked me to discern between poor and needy. Do we have a definition, both separate definitions for both? I think we do, but I don't know what it is. Do you know?
I didn't think
Poor and needy, is there a separate
The
definition
code-
for each one of
The
those?
code defines a responsibility to serve the poor, not the needy. And basically the poor has absolutely no job, no income.
And we have, do we not have an ordinance that we have a definition of what criteria that
Yes.
has to be?
That is correct. Was it in your packet?
Oh, I don't know.
No, just the amendment was, I don't have it either.
When I was talking to Ken yesterday, the ordinance, I believe, defines that the poor don't have the ability to make anything. They have a physical or mental reason that they can't work, or even if that's like temporary or more long term. Whereas the needy might have some ability to make money off, be able to get disability or get funds, or they're able to work.
But I want to reiterate that we do have a definition by which, there might be those who are needy, but they may not be poor.
Any other questions or comments? Now I'll close the public hearing and go on to item 18. Consider approval of first consideration of proposed amendment to Webster County Ordinance Number 43, an ordinance describing the forms of general assistance provided by Webster County in accordance with Chapter 252 Code of Iowa to poor persons and needy persons.
Do we want to set, we need to set a, waive a second and set a third? Madam Auditor,
Yes, sir.
on this, do we need to waive a second and set a third?
That's your choice. Jen, wait a second, the third will need to republish.
Would you like to do that, to waive the second reading and set a date for the third?
Yeah, I overlooked the notion of doing that, so I would do that in my original motion.
Do you have a date? 2 weeks?
Deal with 2 weeks from today.
I can look.
Perfect. I'll second your motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Who want a roll call?
Roll call vote.
All right.
Campbell, aye. Dinkle, aye.
Singer, man.
Fletcher, aye.
All ayes. Item 19, oh, you have until 10:30, so. Item 20.
No, 20 started, right?
Citizens' opportunity to address the board with items not on the agenda. Rest of the board.
Don't let them.
Cheers. Yeah. Anybody want to talk?
We're talking item 19 here.
No, that starts at 10:30. Just any other comments on anything going on in the county? Board of Supervisors committee reports, no? Nothing this week. I guess I went to Crime Stoppers last week, and they're doing their best to get new members and, trying to fight crime in the area. There is a meeting tonight at Hillcrest Schools, on Take Back Fort Dodge. If you're not doing anything, probably a good time to go to that and think about putting neighborhood watches in your neighborhoods. We went to CD, okay, go ahead.
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
Encourage everybody, if you're not doing anything, try to attend that. Be positive at the meeting, I guess. Went to CD Convention Visitors Bureau last week. We talked about the success of the Rag Rye and the Girl State softball. Sounds like the improvements they've done out at the park for the bleachers and press box. Everybody was really impressed in that, and they thought it was outstanding. So nothing but good comments about those two items. A lot of events coming into town. You can't find something to do in Fort Dodge. You're not looking very hard because there's a lot of things coming to town. Monday or Saturday, if you're not doing anything, the 29th, the OHB Park, where it has some four-wheelers out there, ATVs. If you haven't had a chance to tour in the park, there'll be some opportunity to jump onto somebody. They'll give you a ride out in phase 1 and phase 2 if it doesn't rain. That'll be open. So if you haven't had a chance to get out there, you're going to get a chance to. They're going to be there from 1 o'clock. A little meeting. It's the Iowa Off-Road Motor Vehicle Association is part of that. So they'll be there 1 o'clock for meeting, and then after that they're going to ride all day and have a night ride all night. So We have a good crowd this year, everybody go take a ride. It is really amazing what's out there and the scenes and the lake back there, and it's just kind of fun. So I'll have my photo report, I want you to be there. Good time as well, I hope, so that's,
Don't get in from Keys Forward.
I'll give you a good ride.
If you want a really good ride. Or Dennis Watts. Bob?
Just a reminder, today, up in Des Moines, Ledmo is moving their offices from Trolley Center over to St. Mark's. And I think, isn't that where the health department did have some offices? They've moved out of those now, and they're taking over that spot. So they are closed today. There's a board meeting tonight, and I have the pleasure of going to Storm Lake if I choose for that board meeting. So that's a big change for them, and I assume probably by the end of the week they're up and running.
I would think if you're on that board, it'd be a duty to go that way, Bob.
Oh, it's a duty, all right. There's also a telephone option if I want to opt for that.
Clark?
I have no meetings to report on. I will be going to Charles City tomorrow. We'll have the pleasure of esteemed Director Charles Palmer to give us a report on how the restructuring of the Medicaid system is coming. So that'll be interesting. I can report back, and we've had some discussions in the last 2 or 3 months on where this is all going, what it's going to mean for Webster County. Don't know that I have a lot of clarity tomorrow, but hopefully we will get some more information to everybody on what's developing there. So,
I guess last Friday, Mark and I went to Boone, to the Boone Creek Watershed Authority, is that what it's called?
That would be the Beaver Creek Management Authority for watersheds.
And it's just a bunch of people getting together from down south and trying to figure out a way to control some of the water flowing through H2B1, I guess. As supervisors, I guess we need to watch when the word authority comes into the picture. It makes me a little nervous, so I guess we just went down there to see what's going on. Probably one of us will be on that board, we'll figure out who wants to do it. Just watch what's going on in that area down there. It's important to kind of watch what's going on, but I don't think you can control Mother Nature and the flooding problem. So we wait a couple more minutes and move on to 19. Anybody have any more citizens talk about it?
Under Gate Rodeo is coming up, it's a great event. They have an outstanding show Friday, Saturday night. You get a chance to go down. It's a very good time.
Maybe we can take a minute here. And bottom life in this.
He is a quick thing off the record.
Yeah.
About that accident, the trench drain accident, the gentleman did killed a week ago or so. And I don't know if the city has anything to do with the codes, trench blocking while digging trenches, anything like that. If they don't, I mean, there's nothing to do about it. But is there any way, maybe it's something you guys are looking to prevent something like this from happening again in this city?
well, I think that this is a situation where OSHA is involved, and I think it's pretty fair to say that OSHA regulations and OSHA compliance is probably the most stringent option that's out there. And that being said, it's an unfortunate situation. We'll have to wait and see what the result of their investigation brings before I'm willing to make any kind of statement or position.
I understand it, this was not a city project or nothing, that I'm aware of, but does the city have anything, if they have a city project and somebody do an excavation like that, do they have guidelines for contractors to go by?
Make sure it's
Yes,
the
that's the city, we have no idea.
We wouldn't have any idea because we don't have control over the city, so.
I'm sure they have to follow, like I said, the OSHA and Shaw and all those rules, so.
All right, I have something.
Okay. Yes, so now it is 10:30. I'll open the public hearing. And the final consideration and amendment to zoning ordinance number 046 and zoning map to rezone the following described property from M-E to A-2, Lot 4, Peterson subdivision of northwest fraction quarter of Section 7, Township 88 North, Range 28 West of the 5th PM, Webster County, Iowa, except a parcel of land being in the part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of Section 12, Township 88 North, Range 29 West of the 5th PM, Webster County, Iowa, and also part of Lot 4 of Peterson subdivision of the northwest quarter of Section 7, Township 88 North, Range 28 West of the 5th PM, Webster County, Iowa. I'll open the public hearing. Any written there?
No written comments.
Comments? We'll take comments from the public. If you want to comment, come on up and state your name.
Lonnie Evans, I live at 2217 235th Street, right next door to the property we're talking about. Couple other questions from the last meeting. I know Lori Grady had sent in a fax. Was that ever found, the fax? I don't know who accepts the faxes here at this building.
The only facts I got was from the year, which was
The only facts that I've ever seen is one that was dealing with Mr. Edie and the mining company. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, this was a fax from Lori Grady. It was reviewing the previous meeting that we had. It's kind of notes from that previous meeting. Just going over all the neighbors in the area and their thoughts and what happened in that meeting. And that was faxed in prior to the last meeting. It should have been at the last meeting, and it didn't. Apparently didn't come through here, or got lost in the shuffle. I don't know, that's what I'm looking for.
She
Do
has a
you know
copy
what
of it.
number she sent it to?
No, I don't have a copy.
Okay. We have a copy, I guess, so that's.
Okay. In the description there, except a parcel of land being part of the southeast quarter, southeast, so forth. What portion of property are you regarding, is that in regards to?
Should I ask Eric to answer that since he's the attorney?
Do you still have the map for that piece?
There's a map.
Do you still
They just,
have it?
that's the legal description. It's lot 4, except a 10-acre parcel in the southwest. I got it memorized now, but Sheila has the map of it.
That's the legal from the abstract.
Yeah.
That's the legal of the property we're talking about.
So it's the exception of southwest corner?
Well, I mean, I just know what the legal description is. I mean, I'm just telling the top of my head. I looked at it very closely. There's a map. It's kind of a,
We had that map up on the last
Township.
He
meeting.
Mark's working on trying
He's
to
working on
get a country or something else.
Do you want Big Country or which one would you prefer?
Whatever one you put these parcel numbers on, or parcel lines.
What's your question about that? Do you think the legal description is wrong?
No, I'm wondering what area that.
Oh, okay.
Anybody have the map?
He's looking it up. He's looking it up, put it up there.
On our Polk County website, and we'll zoom in on that area.
Keith, the question he's asking is essentially what the accept within the legal description means. And the answer to that is the accept is simply a part of the legal description of the parcel shown on the map. There's no as far as the ordinance goes, there's nothing being accepted from this ordinance. That's just simply a description of the property. That's just a portion of the legal description of the property.
Okay, but is that an exception then?
What,
What is
somewhere
it?
along the lines, there has been in the legal description of the property. But what we're talking about with the legal description of this ordinance is the property that was previously shown during the prior meetings as set out on the maps.
That exception is that it does not read that that's now still a main. We're reclassifying from ME to A2.
Just as,
We're
just
accepting
accept
that
it.
parcel, so that parcel remains what it is now.
Whatever it is now, we don't know what that is.
Yeah,
No,
we're
I-
accepting everything.
I have no idea what that is, it's just a part of the legal description.
It's the part of lot 4 that the applicant doesn't own.
Yeah, which is everything else in the world, basically,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I mean, you got a rectangle, and there's another rectangle that they don't own, so it's lot 4 except that rectangle.
Accept that, okay. Does that answer your question?
Where's the person?
Yeah, I guess it does in a way. It's
You're right on,
describing
you're
the
right
whole
That's the
area.
exception, right to the left,
To where the
Yes,
house, where that
yes.
is.
Okay, because that's not part of the property.
And it would be normal in a legal situation that was all one parcel on one abstract at some point in time. And at some point in time, somebody divided it into two properties. And so the legal.
In this case, it's owned by the
originally
applicant's
was this.
son, actually.
Okay.
Sheila, are you pretty adept at being able to understand legal descriptions of properties?
It's exactly what Eric just said.
Yeah, so if the gentleman was really curious as to know what exactly those boundaries are, he could see you after the meeting and you could walk him through that. Okay?
So it is in the understanding that that is Jerry's property that's the except, because it was at one time the whole 40.
Okay, that makes clear.
And I did ask on the last meeting, there was on that plan, there was 2 parcels on the plan. And I was wondering why that was divided into 2. I guess it really maybe it doesn't make any difference, but the whole 30 is being over to A2. I'm just talking to myself, I guess. So, now, if this turned into an A2, this means one house, as we went through the other meeting, one house on the 30 acres. Okay? And right now, this is ME, zoned ME, mineral extraction. You want to turn it into an A2. And is any way an A2 a residential?
Sheila, can you answer that?
We allow residential properties in A2, yes. If that's your question.
Okay. And then what is the difference between an A2 and an R1 residential?
Density.
Pardon me?
Density.
That's city?
Density.
Dead?
Density, like the number of housing that's allowed, the density.
Oh, density. Okay, got it. Okay. So if it was an R1, there'd be more population lot.
Correct.
Okay. And I guess the reason I asked, I guess another question, R1 compared to a subdivision. Would that be a density, R1 can be considered a subdivision area?
If they apply for subdivision review, yes.
Right. They'd be applying for an R1?
It just depends on what the subdivision's going to be.
Okay, is an R1 the same as a subdivision?
Well, the subdivision, if you're going to put more housing in, they would have to, number one, rezone it to a residential zoning, and then you would have to go through subdivision review.
So they'd have to rezone to residential, but A2 is already residential? I'm just trying to find that line in there. Because in A2, you're saying can be residential, but an R1,
You may have residential dwelling units. It does not mean that it is zoned residential.
So by having it A2, you were essentially keeping it to one house for the 38-acre tract. By having it A2. In order to put any more houses on there, you would have to get it rezoned to residential.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the rezoning application?
Yes,
Could I see a copy of that?
sure.
Do you have it with you?
I can dig it out. Okay, what did you need?
Copy of the rezoning application.
Copy.
They're asking for an A2 rezoning right there? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. Can I see it? Okay, so it's got application Eric and so on, by activity, and local address, size of the property, how the property is zoned right now, which is a mineral extraction, ME, and what do you propose to change on to zoning 2 is an A2. Okay. How's the property being used? Forest land pasture, what are the utilities? None. How do you plan to use this property? Residential. Commercial, other, you've got residential checked. I just want to clarify that residential is not an A1 kind of a crossover. Would this be a, instead of a residential, would it be a farmstead? What,
How land is used and how it is zoned can be two different things. You're confusing the two. They ask for an A2 zoning.
yeah,
They can put a house on there and use it residentially. That doesn't mean that it's zoned residentially.
is my house residential?
Yes, it is. And your zoning is mineral extraction.
Correct.
That doesn't mean you're using your land as mineral extraction. It means that you're using it as residential.
Okay, it's not, there's no difference between residential and homestead. And,
The zoning and how it's being used can be two different things. But the zoning that best matches this application is an A2, because they're not asking for any more housing.
so it is listed as residential, but it is not an R1. I just want to clarify. It was mentioned in one of the articles in the paper, Clark,
Yes.
that the owner of the property has someone who desires to build on it.
I have no idea.
No? Supervisor Clark Fletcher said the zone will change, benefit the landowner. We have a property owner who desires to build on a property. That is a separate paragraph. Maybe it wasn't intended by you. It says we have a property owner who desires to build on a property that they own and cannot now find a way to zone, the way it's zoned.
It's just an assumption. We may, here's the deal, is I'm having a little difficult time understanding what your question is leading towards. So it appears to me that this landowner wants to have this land zoned so that they can build a house and be in compliance with the zoning ordinances. And in order to do that, to build a new house, and correct me if I'm wrong township. And in order to build a new house on this 38 acres, they need to change it from ME to A2. Is that correct, Sheila?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's all they want to do. They want to make their property so that they can build a house.
And it is, I think it's 28 acres, but I'm correct, because the other 10 is exempt. So my question is, it states in here that they have somebody who desires to build a house on it. Do we know who that is?
It's none of our business. I mean, it's property owners.
And I clarified that, I think Clark was not speaking for you, but I think he was just speaking that this would allow someday somebody to build on it. We would have no knowledge if anybody's ever, and I don't know that anybody will ever build on it. That's not really the question before us, it's just that it allows somebody to build.
Right. Assuming if somebody had something.
The property owner has every right to go through this process to increase the value of that property or do what she or he wants to better themselves.
I understand completely. My question was, if somebody knows who that was, I mean, I'd like to know it. That's not your right, even if you did know it. You know, maybe tell me that. I mean, but I had to ask.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows, that's a fair assumption.
Does anyone have a copy of the mining agreement from 2009? When the mining agreement was written up?
I'm sure if it's recorded, it's recorded off the copy.
Who would that agreement be with? Who would that agreement be with? What mining
The
agreement?
mining and who?
Well, that I don't know. I don't have that information, but apparently there was an agreement written up in 2009 for mining that area.
No.
Sheila?
I don't think we have, if you have knowledge of one, it's recorded, you can go look it up, but we don't know of one. Of what agreement there will be.
And I believe there's been testimony before that says there is no mining agreement on this piece of property that's recorded. The abstract doesn't show there's ever been an agreement with a mining company.
No, it's all the ME right now. So there was something at some time. Unless,
No.
I think it was just zoned that way because they thought there might be some mining extraction there someday, and they wanted to protect all that area at one time. If some USG national, somebody wanted to go and mine that, it was zoned property at the time. Well, it sounds like right now there's no interest in that mining agreement of their property here.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Sheila, didn't you say there was an agreement in 2009?
No.
Right now?
The county has no agreements with anybody on mining.
Did we change the zoning in 2009, or did we do anything in 2009 that you know?
We changed the zoning,
To
but
change the zoning?
Even at that point in time, there didn't need to be a mining agreement or any agreement on this property. It just, you changed the zoning. Would that be correct?
correct.
So that it could be mined someday. It just would allow, if a mining company wanted to talk with that owner, would that be good?
Yeah.
And in 2009, if I was you, I would have protested that. I wouldn't have wanted mining next to me.
I wasn't there.
I know, but if I was living there, there's no way I would want mining next door to me, because I live by it now, it's hell. I mean, they dynamite, shake your house, rattle, I mean, you know, if I lived there, I wouldn't have wanted that zoning. But it sounded, they must not have had any complaints, so it got changed here, that's all, that's all.
I think I asked this question before. Being this change zone to A2 from ME, I'm asking you, as a resident of that area, can we put in that a clause saying this is going to be A2? We don't know when the mining is going to be done, whether it's 8 years or whatever they have left, but can we put a clause in there that this stays A2 for a period of years until the mining is complete?
Why would we do that when nobody's interested in mining in the first place?
it would prevent somebody from going in and building a subdivision.
That has to go through a process.
I understand.
That may,
But if we put it in a clause, that would prevent that from happening, which changes my life, whether I sell my house now.
But you realize that may, if we do that for that one particular parcel, that doesn't mean that the guy on the other side can't go and make application to change it to R1 and put in a subdivision. Is, you know.
I understand. I know all my.
Yeah, we have a question for this specific matter, in my opinion, to change it to a certain zoning today. And I believe people always have the right to come in and request a zoning change at any time. And that would be an issue we deal with then, whether we wanted to allow more use or not more use. Wouldn't that be the normal process?
Absolutely.
Is there a choice to put in a clause, or is it just?
I don't know if you can.
The Planning and Zoning Commission chose not to do that, and that was their recommendation to you. They chose not to add that clause. I believe you have the right to do that, but then again, it's this property owner's rights to come to you and ask. If it's gonna be changed again, it will come before you.
So they do have the right to put that in a clause.
Planning and zoning has the option to recommend that the board change the zoning with that type of clause or another type of clause. This board has the authority to change the zoning with the clause or without the clause. It's just that in this instance, planning and zoning recommended to this board to change the zoning and made no mention of the clause.
Okay. I'm asking you, as a resident, to put in a clause. Can we please do that? Will you consider that?
Assuming vote, we will have consideration.
When it comes to our board, we could consider it, but
this might not be a popular response for your request, but it would seem that due diligence has already taken place, meaning apparently the Planning and Zoning Commission or board took a look at the possibility of adding that and chose not to add it. That's my understanding from what the conversation here. And to that end, if I was going to add that to it, I'm usurping their responsibility and or their suggestion, and I would categorically at the moment say, I'll pass that.
I respect your opinion.
Okay. Don't have to agree with it, but respect.
Oh, that's true, true. As a resident, and I'm speaking for the other residents in that area, we don't want to see a subdivision.
Not to be argumentative, but those 5 people, 4, 3, or whatever that took a look at it in depth and with the expertise that they have said, here it is, accept it or reject it.
And you have a choice to override.
And we still have the opportunity, if that landowner would choose to want to do something down the road, it's got to come through this whole process again.
Correct.
You're the only one that came to the board and said anything. I've only had.
yeah, along Bob's line, I'll tell you, my personal opinion is that, yeah, we have the authority, we don't have to follow the zoning board's recommendation. But I would normally follow their recommendation unless I felt there was some overwhelming reason not to. And my personal opinion in this case is that you are the only one that's come and argued against this. You keep saying your neighbors or whatever, but we even delayed this because you said neighbors were going to come to this meeting, and nobody else has complained. So I personally don't find that an overriding factor in this. So once we get to the vote, that's my opinion. Is that,
I did talk to the neighbors.
but they're not here, so I give 0 weight to the neighbors.
We had to work. So I've taken time off work. I've missed 3 days out of my schedule to make these meetings and help out myself mainly, along with my neighbors. I take this serious. I don't want a subdivision next to my house. And why that is not in the clause, why you don't add something in there to prevent that from happening, there's a reason for it. I don't know.
Well, I will just reiterate again that this area area on the county's future land use maps, land use management plans, is slated for development. Once the mining is done, this could be subdivided, and the management plan supports that type of growth in these areas. That is why the Planning and Zoning Commission did not recommend to you to add anything like that, because it should be developed once the mining is done.
And Sheila, how long have you had that plan?
2009.
And how long will that mining continue in your idea?
How long the mining is going to continue? I have no idea.
What was this zone before? Do you know?
It was probably an A2 or an A.
Well, I'm guessing it was probably an A2 because there's residents there.
Yeah.
So if it hadn't been, they couldn't be.
Take everything, mostly surrounding city limits, things of that nature, and those are going to be our densest areas for development in our county.
You're basically telling me straight out, in the future, that'll be a multi-housing or a development of some kind.
It's a very good possibility, I told you, and so has the commission, several times.
But yet you'd vote against it too, so, yeah. Have a hard time believing it's true and what's false.
Anything else?
I just ask that you give me a heads up so I can sell my house for property value drops.
Thank you for your comments.
I have my application back on.
Yes.
Anybody else talk on 19 in the public? If not, we'll move on to, I'll close the hearing and move on to item 20. If you're done, consider approval, adoption of an amendment to zoning ordinance number 046 and zoning map to rezone the following described property from ME to A-2, Lot 4, Peterson subdivision in northwest fraction quarter, section 7, township 88 north, range 28 west of 50 PM, Webster County, Iowa, except a parcel of land being part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 12, township 88 north, range 29 west of 50 PM, Webster County, Iowa, and also part of Lot 4 of Peterson's subdivision of the northwest quarter of section 7, township 88 north, range 28 west of 50 PM, Webster County, Iowa. Do we have a roll call vote?
I think I need to
Approve that?
Motion. I would move to approve and adopt an amendment to the zoning ordinance 046 to rezone following described property as described for ME to A2.
Motion and second, any other comments? Hearing none, have a roll call vote.
Campbell, aye.
Tebow, aye.
Singer, aye.